Hello students, today in this lecture we are going to study about colligative properties. The properties of the solvent, it changes on adding solute to it, are known as colligative properties. These colligative properties, they depend on mainly two terms. The change, whatever the change we are going to get it in the solvent by adding solute to it, depends on two terms. The first one, it depends on first number of ions, second concentration. The component which is having more number of ions will show a large change in the colligative property. The one which is having a more concentration will also show the more change in the colligative property. That means colligative properties depends on product of number of ions and concentration in terms of molarity. Right? Okay, let's do it with or try to understand the same thing with the help of some example or a type of question that is generally asked in an exam. If I am having it as a 0.1 molar NaCl, 0.1 molar glucose, then which of these two will show me a more change in the colligative property? Then we can see it that concentration is same, but sodium chloride produces two ions, Na plus Cl minus, glucose C6H12O6, it has only one particle. Here we are having two particles. Therefore 0.1 into 2, we are going to get it as 0.2 for NaCl, whereas 0.1 into 1, we will get it 0.1 for glucose. So more change, so maximum change in colligative properties will be shown by 0.1 molar NaCl. Right? So depends on number of ions, depends on concentration. Now here concentration was fixed, number of ions were more. So we got it answer as NaCl to go for more change in the colligative property. Another example. We are having it as a 0.1 molar NaCl and 0.5 molar urea. Now this time I am having urea, means we are going to get it formula NH2CO NH2, right? Now, out of this, if I want to write the answer, which one will show me a more colligative property? Then, in this case, again, 0.1 molar NaCl has two particles that are Na plus Cl minus. So concentration will be 0.1 into 2, that is 0.2. Whereas for urea, we are going to get it as 0.1 molar urea has one particle. This cannot be ionized. It's going to remain as NH2CONH2. That means we are going to get it as 0.5 into 1, that is 0.5. So which one will show the maximum? This. Hence 0.5 molar urea has or will show more changes in the properties of solvent. So from these two examples you can identify it that if I am having it as an not only the number of ions more means it will show the more change, not only the concentration that will show me the more change. While I want to find out which one will show a more change in the colligative property, I need a product. So to identify the change in the colligative property, we need a product of number of ions into concentration. Greater the number of ions into concentration, greater the product, greater is a change in the colligative property. But now the again question arises, which are those colligative properties? Now we are having in our syllabus 4 colligative properties to be studied. No doubt more than that are their colligative properties, but for our syllabus we are having 4 of them. The first one, relative change in vapor pressure. Second, elevation in boiling point. Third, depression in freezing point. And the fourth one is osmotic pressure. That means for our syllabus we are having 4 colligative properties: relative change in vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, and osmotic pressure. Particularly for this we are going to show the change as delta P. For elevation in boiling point, delta TB, boiling point. For depression in freezing point, the symbol we are using it is a delta TF, and for osmotic pressure we are going to use the symbol as pi. These are the 4 colligative properties that we want to study it. Now once we know what are the colligative properties, we can come back to the Raoult's law, the third law that was been left to discuss. That was for the relative change in the vapor pressure. Particularly we termed it, the third law, as non-volatile solute dissolved in a volatile solvent. So that is going to depend on the particularly relative change in the vapor pressure. Now let us study it one by one, all the 4 of them, as well as we will also discuss what is a Raoult's law. Now for this, Raoult's law for non-volatile solute dissolved in liquid solvent This is also going to be termed as, or I'm going to put it as, relative change in vapor pressure. It's a relative change in vapor pressure. First of all, for this we will derive the formula. We will be having in numericals based on all the four colligative properties. But first of all, one by one, we will get the formula. Once we get the formula, we will do the numericals based on it also. Right? For all the Raoult's law, the numericals are still undone. We will do it one by one. First of all, today we will derive it. In the next lecture, we will do the numericals based on Raoult's law. Right? Okay. Now let us first of all derive it. Now, according to the Raoult's law, it is already shown that P is proportional to mole fraction. P is proportional to mole fraction. Right? Now, Raoult's law states that pressure of solvent is directly proportional to its mole fraction. Now, if I am putting it as a pressure of solvent, then the mole fraction of solvent. Right? If I take it as a pressure of solute, then it will be mole fraction of solute. That means pressure of the component, mole fraction of the same component. So we wrote the formula. We wrote this formula as P is equals to P naught A XA. If it is PB, we wrote it as P naught B into XB. Now, this is for solvent. Actually, we want to study it for solution. So, if we take this, let's go for the derivation. We are having it as P is equals to P naught A into XA. Right? Taking this term on the one side, we get it as P upon P naught A, that is equals to XA. Right? Okay. Now, if I subtract it from 1 on both the sides, from 1 on both the sides. Now, why I am doing this? Actually, we are doing this because we know it that mole fraction of solution is always 1. Mole fraction of that is XA plus XB is always 1. This is already we are aware about it. Now, this is particularly for the given component. I want to study for solution. So, I want to find out the change in the solution, and that's the reason why we are subtracting it from 1 on both the sides. We get it as 1 minus P upon P naught A, that is equals to 1 minus XA. Take the LCM. We get it P naught A minus P upon P naught A, that is equals to 1 minus XA. But what is this? Initial pressure of the solvent. This is the pressure of the solution. We can say that PA is equals to vapor pressure of solvent. P is equals to vapor pressure of solution. So that means we get it over here change. Delta P means we will get the change in vapor pressure. So that means we will get it as delta P upon PA naught, that is equals to 1 minus XA, right? Okay, because of the limitation I am rubbing it again. Please make it sure that you have a clear ideas, right? We got the formula here, delta P upon P naught is equals to 1 minus XA, and we know that XA plus XB is equals to 1. Therefore 1 minus XA, that is equals to XB. So if I put it, delta P upon P naught is equals to XB. Now if this is solvent, XA is solvent, then XB is solute. Therefore we get it as delta P is equals to P naught A into XB, right? If I remove this as a proportionality sign, we get it as XB. So what does it shows? That the relative change in the vapor pressure in vapor pressure, that is delta P, is proportional to mole fraction of solute. We get it as the relative change in vapor pressure is directly proportional to the mole fraction of solute. Now make it sure that you don't make an error while you are given the question. Relative change in vapor pressure, it's a mole fraction of solute. Vapor pressure is directly proportional to solvent. So vapor pressure is directly proportional to solvent, but relative change in the vapor pressure is directly proportional to mole fraction of solute. So be careful while you are being given this. Okay, anyhow, going it into this, we got it as an equation. If we elaborate that equation, what we are going to get it? We know it as XB is equals to N upon N plus N, where N is moles of solute and N is moles of solvent. We got it as delta P is equals to P naught A into XB. Delta P, we wrote it as P naught A minus P. Let's take this term on the other side. We get it as P naught A is equals to XB, and XB is N upon N plus N. So we substitute the value, we get it as P naught A upon P naught A minus, we will be getting it as N upon N plus N, right? Again, what is N? W by M, weight of solute upon molar mass of solute. What is N? W naught by M naught. So if we substitute, we get it as is equals to W by M upon W by M plus W naught by M naught. But particularly we know it that these solutions, they are applicable, or the Raoult's law, it's applicable to a very dilute solution. That means we are going to get it as N is much less than N. Therefore N is neglected from denominator. We are going to neglect the N from the denominator. So we will get the formula now. as P naught A minus P upon P naught A, that is equals to W by M upon W by M plus W naught by M naught. We are going to neglect it because of N very less than N. As a result, therefore we will be getting it as P naught A minus P upon P naught A is equals to W by M into M naught by W naught. Right? So this is the another formula that we get it. Again, this is going to give me a molar mass of solute. Therefore, making it as a subject, molar mass, we will be getting it as W M naught W naught into 1 upon P naught A minus P upon P naught A. Using this formula, we can calculate the molar mass of solute. Therefore, from this we can say that we are having it to a formula to calculate the molecular mass of the solute. Hope so. It's clear to everyone, right? Still, if it is not clear, we are having two factors: either go through the textbook or either straight away give a call to me, right? Okay, based on this, the Raoult's law, we did it for the non-volatile, volatile or gaseous solid. We will do the numericals in our next lecture. For today, it's enough. Thank you.